If you've ever woken up the next day and wish you added to a short position, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Live Trading. I'm your host, Ryan Faluna. I'm back with 13. We're going to have a great day today. Let's get rolling. New intro.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, live trading is back. I know 13 likes that. You made an appearance in the new intro, 13. How about them apples?
How about that? I'm in there. Oh, look at the crow saying MGIH running. I didn't see that pop up in the scanners. So that's a welcome addition to everything that we've got going on here. Let me see.
All it took was just a little bit more, and for us to go live, because we bring the action here. All right, let's just dive right in. First of all, it's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Love that you guys love the new intro. I will say our producers in the back, you might not see them a lot, but they are busy at work every single day. Would not be able to do my job without my teammates, Alyssa and Aaron Thomas. You folks are the wind beneath our wings. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and take a look at the market here. We're going to take a look at SPY. Now, the big news here is we did have that CPI print here this morning. 13, we talked about this yesterday quite a bit. We noticed the low volume. Kudos to you for spotting that so early on. CPI print here, month over month for January, plus 3% versus a plus 2% estimate. Core CPI month over month for January, 0.4% versus the 0.3 estimate. The prior reading was 0.3. And CPI year over year for January, 3.1 versus 2.9. The estimate was 3.4. So a little bit hotter than all of those on the estimate, except for the year over year. Shelter made up 2/3 of that. That makes sense. We need some place to live, right? So judging by the market or after we've got that print, we're taking a look here at the SPY. Here is your daily candle. We did pull back. So if I take a look intraday here, you can see this is right where we got our CPI print. We are drifting lower here. Now, 13, if I recall correctly, you had a gap here, right? You actually had a number that we filled here on one of your charts.
Yeah, it was just a small gap that we made on our way up to that topping out candle that we had yesterday. The gap is from 494 and 32 cents to 495 and 36 cents. We've already filled that to the downside. Okay, and we're actually through it now.
So the next question for me here is going to be, does the pullback continue? And as you mentioned, we already filled that gap. So let's see what's on deck next here. We've seen the dip get bought, right? And that's going to be one of the big questions that I have here. Does the dip continue to get bought today, or do we actually start trading lower? I did catch the end of pre-market prep there, and I saw that Dennis Dick was saying, the bears are going to be out on Twitter doing victory laps, saying we told you so, this and that. I completely agree with him. This is not the end of the world. 13, you were saying that if we just fill this gap and bounce, that actually clears the way for new highs as one of the possibilities. Is that correct?
Well, I was only saying that because if you look at a SPY chart, you can see how we've had a previous candle like the one that we just got or getting to today that tested the bottom of this trend line. And then we had almost a matching one the following day. And then the day after that, we had another huge candle, and we ended up getting new highs. So all I was trying to allude to is that it's not out of the realm of possibility. What I'd like to actually see is a close, and maybe followed by some more closes beneath 494. That would take us out of this rising wedge that we've been forming since December, the middle of December. And that would lead me to believe that more downside is ahead if we can get out of this wedge and start making our way down to 485.
Okay, and that is actually a perfect response here. Michael from the chat asking, good morning, Michael. First of all, do you think SPY has a chance of hitting 490 in the next couple of days? My answer to this would be we would need some carry through. And what 13 was just telling you about is exactly that, right? Maybe we do get a close beneath this 494.32 level that he outlines. Maybe we do get some more downside. If that's the case, 490 definitely not out of the question. We're currently at 493.95. So we're just under 4 points to that 490 target, Michael. Today we'll tell if that's one of the things that we're going to do. So we did have some earnings this morning. We had Coke, we had Marriott. A lot of those are down. The Marriott One lowered guidance. That definitely seems like the consumer is tightening. There's perhaps less travel in there. And then the good news here, as I mentioned yesterday, I had a starter on SQQQ, might be able to take gains on that today. We'll see. We'll see what ends up shaking out here. So here you go. Jay Rice. Good morning, Jay. Good to see you again. Dips have been bought since October. The seasonality favors the bears. So this is definitely on here. We'll see where this ends up going here today. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of small stocks that we're going to take a look at. So let's go ahead and take care of those movers. We do have 20 minutes till we open here. I want to make sure I get to everything. I see that you guys are already throwing out a ton of tickers. You'll love to see it. Thank you, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look at movers, and then we'll go through some of the different stocks that are moving. I know there are some from yesterday that are moving again here today. So let's go ahead and cover them. First one here is going to be OMH. This is Oh My Home. This is up 280% here. So this was $1 yesterday, or even, $1.35 yesterday. We do have some news here. Oh My Home announced, this is going to be tough for me to say all day. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Oh My Home announces growth update following a successful acquisition of a property management business, Simply Sackle. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. Units under management reached 6,746 units with an annual recurring revenue of 2.7 million. So you're getting news there about revenue stream and how many units they have. This is popping huge today. We'll see if this is actually a trade. This actually popped as high as 737. Now it's come back here. We're just above 450. So keep in mind the range that we already have set here. But this one moving, volume looks real good. We'll see where this goes throughout the course of the day here. One of the other ones that you folks are mentioning, and a repeat here from yesterday, we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. This is Beamer, right? BMR. Funny story real quick that I want to share with you. I didn't get permission, so I won't use the name, but someone from the community said last night that they bought a Beamer for their kid, and then they hit Beamer in the stock market. So really, really awesome to see that happen. This was an absolutely huge move yesterday. We're seeing some more here this morning. So you've actually seen two legs up. The first one stopped here about 1567. The second one stopped here at 1971. It's coming back in. We're actually above the VWAP still. So we'll see if BMR ends up giving us more trading action here today. One of the big lessons from yesterday is that on some of these positions, even on some of these really crazy ones, perhaps even more importantly on the crazy ones, I'm going to leave a little bit instead of just selling everything. Because if we get a big run like we did yesterday in BMR, I don't want to sit there saying, oh man, I just scalped this for 30 cents when I could have had 4, 5, 6 points on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the strategy a little bit there. If we do scalp, we're going to sell a bulk of it and leave a trail around in case we get one of these big runners here. The other thing about some of these big runners in 13, I know we've been talking about this as a group quite a bit recently, is that the more that you start to see these multiple 100 or multiple 1,000% runners, that could signal that maybe the market is kind of topping out. And that's something else here that we're going to watch. Kudos to you, because one of the things that you've been saying on a lot of these kind of smaller names here, these are simply just trading vehicles. Let's not forget that and think that we're going to have some big multi-day move.
Yeah, you don't want to leave your table when you're at the casino with all your chips on it. So why would you stay in the market? Why would you keep your money in the market in one of these?
Yeah.
Take it out and go home.
Yeah, exactly. Next on the list here, I'm just going to roll through a couple of these. I know the chat is going crazy here with some more stuff. We will take a look at that. DBGI, right? This is Digital Brands Group. This also popping here on really good volume. This actually moved. This was about $2 yesterday. This printed above 10s here today. We've kind of come back into the VWAP, which has us in the mid 7s on DBGI. This up 170% here. They reaffirm its 2024 guidance and commit to no equity offerings for 2024. So there you go. They're telling you that, hey, our guidance is going to stand up and we are not going to do an offering. The one thing that I will say about that is that I've actually been in stocks where the company says, yeah, we're not going to do an offering. And then 6 months later, they do an offering. So that's just something to consider. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen here. I actually am not familiar with DBGI's management team or track record, so I don't want to speak to them or I don't want to speak to that. But just because they said that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. I know I've seen this before. Maybe there are some other details here that separate it, but just kind of keep that in mind. We've been warning a lot about some of these offerings one of the things that I don't want to have happen is someone think, oh, well, they said, so they're not going to do it. So I can hold this one indefinitely and then have some really terrible stuff happen. So just keep that in mind. DBGI, this definitely looks like it's going to be in play today, especially if the volume keeps up. Fitting with some of the themes that you've been discussing recently, 13, DBGI 1.06 million float. So definitely has a low floater here. On average, the stock trades just under 125,000 shares per day. Today, we've already printed 4 million shares in the pre-market. So likely to be a big mover here today. Just rolling down the list here, we got BGLC. This was a penny stock yesterday. This moved into dollar territory today. Looks like it's doing some kind of technical trading off of the VWAP into these pushes. Unless we get another pattern developed, this is one of the things I'll be looking at here. Honestly, I think we've got some better targets here that we might have some more experience with. So unlikely, BGLC, unlikely to be one of my top targets out of the open. And 13, if you want to jump in on any of these, just go ahead and interrupt me if you have anything else on it. Otherwise, I'm just trying to clear through the list here.
Yeah, this one also had a reverse split back in July, 1 for 12, and they have a 14.68 million float, BGLC.
BGL's BioNexus. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Perfect. ARBB. This is ARB Internet of Things Group. This also popped here this morning. This actually traded up as high as like 760-ish. Oh, someone's in trouble, and really kind of bled back down. Now, it looks like maybe we've kind of found our near-term bottom here. We'll see. Ticker ARBB. One thing that was notable here, Jay, I know you gave us, I think it was VFC yesterday or VFS. Let me pull it up here. I think it was VFC, right? The one that you mentioned yesterday that had the 13G. Let me actually pull that up here. VFC. I think this was it. Unless I'm getting the tickers mixed up again. This is the president was buying shares here. Anyway, or is it VFS or VFC? Correct me if I'm wrong here. But one of the things that I noticed here about ARBB is this was very similar to the stock that you had mentioned yesterday. We did have a passive stake taken here via Form 13G. Right, so 28.38% stake from a filing on Monday. That's popping the stock here today. We'll see what kind of follow through we get on that one. We already covered BMR. I know this is going to be a heavy target of many of you out there. This is definitely going to be one of the stocks that we take a look at today. It's had a monster day yesterday. We'll see if another day is lined up for that. VSIG, I know there were a couple of people watching this. I think maybe it was Andy from the Happy Hour show that was watching this one. This move in here, it's really kind of bled back some of the gains. I would have liked to have sold into this pop, frankly, if you were holding this one. We'll see if we end up trading VSIG here.
Yeah, no news on this one. It has an 8.5 million float.
Right. So I think there are actually some lower float targets that we might be able to go after. FAMI, I feel like we've traded this one here as well before. It looks like this popped is really kind of bleeding some stuff back. We'll see if it holds too. So far, the chart looks like it's holding that area. We'll see if that round number actually holds up and if FAMI gives us a trade. Currently have the VWAP here at 254. So even a regression back to the VWAP would make for a pretty decent day trade out of the gate here. A couple more. Go ahead. Sorry.
CFO resigned in FAMI, and they had a 1 for 8 reverse split on September 25th. They also have a 6.24 million share float.
All right, there we go. BDRX. This popped and dropped. This actually really looks weak. We'll see if we get the tuna special here, right? Does this actually bottom and start to show some strength after the sellers are exhausted? We shall see. And then also, I think it was free, one of the ones we want to cover that. I think that was a buyout. And then ADIL, I know we've traded this one here off the relative volume scanner. It looks like this popped, came back in, tried to eclipse that VWAP or take that VWAP out again. We did pop above it, but we're immediately sent beneath it. So we'll see if the VWAP can actually hold up here. Also, MGIH, you guys were mentioning this earlier. MGIH, a little bit later, 13, we were taking a look at this before we went on, really didn't see any movement. And by the time we went on, it was moving. Yep. So maybe MGIH is gearing up here. For me on MGIH, really a bust of 380 would really kind of get this thing going. We'll see if it has any more upside momentum or if it's just the dips being bought that gives us the trades there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the SPY right now, and we got a bounce off of the 494 area. We're trading back up at the moment.
So that was the gap fill that you had mentioned earlier. Here's that 494. I think you had 494.32, but as we've discussed many times, this is an area, not necessarily just a point at an exact cent. To your point here, 13, we are bouncing. Let's see if that bounce catches. I'm interested to see what the opening print is. Is it a snap back towards balance, or is it another leg down as more sellers puke out what they have? Be interesting to see what's on deck for that here.
So the gap I had was actually correct in the figures. The 494 level, that's where the bottom of my rising wedge is. And if we fall out of the 494 level, then we'll be outside that rising wedge. That's what I want to see for the downside. We came to 494, traded just a little bit beneath it, and then we're coming back up into that gap we just filled. So we're rising off of 494, which is not what we want if we're looking for the SPY to go down.
Okay. And then one more thing here before we talk about trade the pool. I really don't have any updates in any of my positions, but we'll talk about that here in a sec. One thing that I did want to share from the happy hour group with you folks is a swing trading idea. I've been making it a point to try and get more idea generation in here, not just some of these day trades, not just some of the smaller priced day trading scalps, but bringing you really good setups. The genesis of this one is from a swing position that I currently have on. When DuPont sold off here, we really kind of just really sold off. The selling started to abate, and we actually took this for a bounce play. Now, I played this via a butterfly. I'm still in, so I'm taking a fairly conservative approach at this one. Frankly, I think I should have spread the wings out, but that's a discussion for another day here. This setup actually exists in another stock that we talked about yesterday, and that's going to be CCK. So you know that Crown Holdings here dropped. Looks like it's trading back up. We'll see if we get another bounce here on CCK. The one thing I will say here on this particular swing long idea is that the option chain is very, very illiquid. So I'm not going to be able to use my same butterfly strategy that I have been on some of the others. I'd probably have to go at this with shares. But if you're interested, decent swing long here. I'd be targeting 80s on this bounce back if we end up getting it. Okay, 13, do you have anything that I glossed over or that you want to dive into in any more depth before we start talking about tickers from the chat?
Nope, we covered all the small caps that we were going to talk about, and we already touched on CPI. I think it's time for me to just let this market open and see what I can find.
Okay, sounds good to me. Jonathan Cooper mentioning that Bitcoin is falling. We saw that too. Bitcoin, a huge run yesterday, traded above that 50K level, which was awesome. Hopefully you sold your Bitcoins to therapists. If you know, you know. Bitcoin here falling here today. We'll see where that ends up bottoming. We would imagine that we'd see the inverse action of what we saw yesterday in some of those Bitcoin names, right? Here you go. Here's Mara. Looks like we're kind of trading all the way back down, almost a round trip. This also, you know, I know Mara and Riot and Coin, these aren't the same as some of these littler stocks that we're trading. But the thing that still exists here is, you know, don't be afraid to take your gains when you have them. How many times have we seen one day the market is up, we come in the next day, the things that were up or the market that was up is now down and something else is moving? Well, here we go. Bitcoin, we had a huge run yesterday, tons of trading. You might have been enticed to kind of hold this over another day. And then this morning here, we're trading back off. So we're trading back down. So just as a reminder, if you have your gains, don't be afraid to take them, especially in the market conditions that we're in. I don't necessarily want to be controversial, but what I will say here is the market doesn't necessarily feel normal to me. I'd really like to get the opinions of others who have been participating in the market for a long time. It just doesn't feel like a normal market. So there's no problem with not overstaying your welcome on some of these trades. Crow saying, great trading this year, Ryan. You have an air of confidence about you. Hey, Crow, you know, I appreciate you mentioning that. I'll say this, and this is actually something that I was just discussing recently. Part of the confidence thing comes from the group that we're in, right? You guys don't quite know yet your impact, which I think is really, really cool. I've got people that message me privately all the time saying that they feel better or they're thanking us for having a community where we can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So I'd be remiss if I said that that confidence doesn't come from the group that's here. So I really appreciate that, Crow. Look forward to a prosperous 2024. That's for sure.
Frank asking me if I'm holding Zim. I'm still holding Zim, and we're getting an opportunity to get some more. I'm slowly getting into this more and more when we go under 12, and I do intend to shave off some shares once we get back up to the $13 level or higher. So it's just kind of been back and forth between that. Like I said, I don't think that the whole Red Sea, Suez Canal ordeal is over. I think that Zim still has a lot to gain from that. There's both bullish and bear cases for it, and I'm on the bullish side. So I am holding this. I'm still going to be trading this. I just need a little more upside first. But yes, I am.
And at this point, you actually might be able to add to your position, right? You get a pretty good cost basis as we trade here below 12. We discussed this yesterday as being part of the plan. Lynn, good to see you this morning. Thank you for bringing this up. I actually kind of glossed over this one, but we might as well cover it here. JetBlue, this ticker JBLU, JBLU. JetBlue Airways shares are trading higher after Carl Icahn disclosed a 9.91% stake in the company in a 13D filing. So this popping here, remember, we've talked a lot about those airlines. And this actually can talk about the consumer here. I did see another question in here from an OG. Good morning, Shannon. Happy Mardi Gras. For all of you that are interested, Bettinardi's having a Mardi Gras drop, but that's all I'll say here. Shannon, you were asking earlier, I think it was about Royal Caribbean. Did I get that right? I'm trying to find. Oh, you did? You saw that?
I saw that. She was asking about it. Like RCL, is that what it is? Yeah, RCL.
Anyone looking at RCL? So I'm not looking at this for a trade, but I have been looking at any of these stocks that might give us some insight to the consumer. Remember, my thesis here has been that the consumer is going to weaken. We are due for a sell-off. I've mentioned that a whole lot here on this program. So I'm looking at other stocks that might tell us, hey, the consumer is weakening, kind of confirming that. And Royal Caribbean, CCL, you can even use the airlines and some of that, maybe some of the shippers like FedEx and UPS might kind of help you make that determination. As far as looking at this for a potential trade, I think that you're almost at a potential bounce spot here, Shannon. I think 113 absolutely could bounce this stock. We're just under 115 right now. I'm not sure what your thesis is on this one or what you're looking to do on this one. But as you can see from the COVID lows, we actually double bottomed at this COVID low right around $31. This thing's been a ripper ever since then. It does pull back, does have a tendency to pull back, but those pullbacks have been bought. If we do get the same type of action here on RCL, you might get a bounce here at about 113 or maybe even 105. So those are some of the levels that I see. 13, do you have anything on RCL? I can't remember if this is one of your wheelhouse stocks, and I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No, it is not. I try to stay as far away as I can from cruise stocks. One of the things that was just coming across news headlines this month was an outbreak of a gastrointestinal illness on Queen Victoria cruise ships. So I don't like the whole cruise ship theme for stocks. I don't think it's a good idea. We already saw what happened with COVID. You get one person sick, and all of a sudden the whole ship's going to end up potentially getting it. You're going to have these lockdown procedures that nobody's going to like. It's going to make the companies look bad. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with this gastrointestinal illness, but it's just it's a little bit too soon. A little bit too close to the incident that where people were getting locked down and having to sit in port forever. I don't like cruise ships stocks. I'm just going to stay away from them. So I really don't have a positive opinion on them.
Okay. Well, first of all, in any opinion it should help, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be positive. I appreciate you saying that. There's a lot in there that you said that I really agree with. I've been on cruises. I've had a wonderful time on cruises years and years ago, but honestly, after COVID and after seeing how they handled that entire situation, cruises are not something that I'm really looking to get into. But I know that's not the case for everybody. So I don't want my own personal opinion of what's going on here to affect how I view some of these stocks. Now, RCL right here, what I'd really like to see is this confirm a bottom and a bounce. That would give you a tradable long spot. We got the Zinger Buddy emote. I think they got rid of that one, but I really appreciate you throwing that in there. That's really awesome. Look at Becca. I'm going on an Alaskan cruise in June. Becca, you are the trailblazer. Let us know how that is. Those Alaskan cruises are supposed to be absolutely amazing.
And I hope you enjoy yourself too. I've heard a lot of great stories about cruises. Just me personally, I wouldn't want to trade those stocks. I think there's just too much that can happen to the stocks themselves. And one bad headline,
And to your point, 13, the stock is separate from the experience, right? And let's make that very clear when we're talking about that. Absolutely. Okay, we're about to open here. Let me see. Let me take a look at my program. We've got 30 seconds until we open. Apologies if I skipped over something that you folks wanted to take a look at. I'm sure we'll have some more time. And if you could pull up the chart for BCG. Let me wait till the market opens. The quote's actually going to disconnect the chart here. Brug Light saying he booked an Alaskan cruise in September. Okay, you guys better share these pictures. One of my buddies went on an Alaskan cruise and he said it's amazing. Yeah. Jane Smith going on one in less than 2 weeks. Okay, so here you go. The boots on the ground here telling you that people are still interested. We are open. And by the way, SQQQ, my swing long from yesterday, that is continuing up here today. That is awesome. Yep. I do have a limit order to sell right at 12 if we get there. And we'll book those gains and kind of wait for that to set back up again on SQQ. Still in, have not been filled yet. But we'll see what happens as we continue here. So I saw a couple of you were mentioning OHM. Oh, real quickly here, let me flip over to Trade the Pool. Let me see what we got here. Let me remove this. Nope, this still isn't. There we go. There we go. Okay. So Trade the Pool, like I had mentioned earlier, nothing new in Trade the Pool. In terms of swings, we are still carrying Zim. We are watching Zim. Looks like we popped a little bit here. We'll see. TGTX really had a tough time. Probably should have shaved more while we were up there. But remember, I did already book gains on this one. So I'm still doing okay here. Just not going to let this go red on me. And then finally, you are, of course, viewing the Trade the Pool software. Our stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. If you need a prop firm and you need to get above that 25K, get up to 260K buying power with Trade the Pool. Okay, let's take a look at some stocks. Let's find some trades here. BGLC being mentioned by Smoke Tuna early. Let's take a look. BGLC looks like it bounced off that VWAP pretty good right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at SQQQ, trying to see if we can get that 12 print. At the same time, I'm also watching the the SPY. We're really flirting with the 494 level again.
Okay, so I see we're at 494.20. So technically we're under that little spot that you talked about, or that 494.32, I believe it is. But to your point, we'll see if we reclaim that or if we actually move lower from here.
It looks like some of the ones we were talking about this morning, some are going up, some are going down. Some are
BMR. I might as well just go to that. I'm sure a lot of people are watching Beamer after yesterday. BMR halted here to the upside 2095. That didn't take long, folks. That didn't take long. Ohm halt down. That's OMH. I guess Ohm is OHM. I better be careful there. OMH. Go ahead.
Guess what's coming back? HOLO.
You're kidding.
I'm not.
Okay, Hollow with a nice vertical candle there out of the open. 13 very succinctly says, no, I'm not kidding. Pretty awesome stuff there. Here, let me see. This is in Trade the Pool. Here we go. So this actually holding right here at the VWAP. Be interesting to see where this goes. You got RNLX, Smoke Tuna, I mentioned that. Florida, yacht insurance guy in Florida. What an awesome handle. Also mentioned it here. We did cross through VWAP. Let's see if we get some volume to really kind of push us away. That first stick was pretty good. I want to see that matched here in the second window.
MGIH also halted. So yesterday's big movers are now halted at the open.
MGIH looks like that is halted to the upside here. So that's pretty good news, at least for the long side players. ARBB, by the way, that was one from our list here this morning. Looks like maybe this is trading back up here on ARBB. Spread is a little bit bigger here. We'll see if that tightens up a little bit as we start to move back up.
DBGI might be rebounding. It pulled itself back above VWAP. And I have this 710 level as a it's a level from previous price action. Okay, now it's really starting to move. This one might be going here.
DBGI?
DBGI, yeah.
Okay, so we did see an initial flush there. We actually reclaimed the VWAP. Now we are pushing higher here, 13. Intraday high 830 broken. New highs, new intraday regular session highs here.
Looks like Zim's trying to pull itself back above 12.
FAMI looks like that's still doing a good job holding 2, by the way, on FAMI. DBGI still spread a little bit here. Sorry, 13. Didn't mean to run you over.
Don't worry. Every time I hear Family, I just think of the original Nintendo Entertainment System. It was called the Famicom when it was debuted in Japan.
Oh, that's a nice little piece of trivia. I don't even think I knew that. Every time I look at FAMI, I think of Femi because we've got Sydney in here trading Femi. We've actually traded this a number of times ourselves off the scanner. So that's one of those where I might mix the ticker up. Order flow trader saying BMR halted again. So if we take a look at BMR here. Oh, we already covered that one. It's still the 2095 halt. Okay. Sorry about that. Flipping around here real quick.
Bitcoin trying to recover. It's back above 49K. We were beneath that before the open. As a matter of fact, we went down to 48, under 48.5.
Looked like it bounced pretty much as soon as the market opened, right? Started trading back up there as soon as the market opened. So still, let's take a look, see what else we have moving here. I don't see anything great that I wanted to buy. Shout out to you for DBGI there.
Well, it's bleeding now. We broke beneath 710. So
got to be quick on some of those. Got to be quick on some of those. By the way, Coke reported earnings here this morning, so they're higher. It looks like they were higher in the pre-market. Nice little profit-taking flush, and now we resume the highs.
Nice.
You're long Coke, right?
I picked up Coke in October. Yeah.
Marriott, this is another one here, right? This is Marriott Hotels. They reported earnings moving lower here, moved lower in the pre-market and now lower out of the open. Let's see where the bottom is on Marriott. This also might help us go after our weak consumer thesis.
Hollow is up to 18.5 now. That's their high.
Jay,
sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Jay mentioning Shop here. Shop got a 175. I didn't think those numbers were bad. 175. Are you referring to the earnings print? Let me pull that up in my news thing here so I can give myself the right context.
I think Shopify is exposed to the buy now, pay later methods of payment. So I think that could end up coming back to hurt it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. Let me know what you mean on that. I got a 175. There maybe a call. I mean, is the premium of the call? Unsure. But in any case, Shopify, sorry.
BMR opened.
BMR is open. Let's flip back over this. By the way, Shopify down on earnings. If that report's not bad, maybe this comes back here. Decent idea right there. BMR here open and a move to the downside. This is going to halt here at 1886, isn't it?
It already looks like, yeah, it's halted.
Yep, halted already. That was fast. Boy, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it. I literally flipped to it and it halted again. Second halt of the day. This one to the downside. By the way, BGLC also halted here. Gosh, easy for me to say. This one halted to the upside on a potential upside break here, 140.
Fami's moving. If it breaks through 235 right here, it could go pretty handily.
That was a closing thing. Of course. Bought at 78, sold at 79.75. So a nice little, almost a 2-point scalp there before the market.
Come on, Ryan.
Well, no, I mean, that I should have been able to figure that out by looking at the chart.
Oh my God. Look at Hollow. Look at Hollow go. It's slow, but steady.
I mean, this thing's an absolute ripper. This thing's up 4 points from those pre-market lows here. Just a huge rip. Huge rip. OMH being mentioned by the Crow. He's got his eyes on it. We're breaking beneath the VWAP. This is going to have to hold for this to be a long side trade. I do see some size on the bid at 445. We'll see if that holds or if it just gets sunk. They just brought in an offer that got eaten, so maybe we do move higher from here.
Yeah, and MGIH is open too, and that one popped, and then it's dropping now.
Pulled right back to VWAP. There is some size there. Hollow over 20. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on, don't we?
Yeah. I didn't think Hollow was going to just keep on going. I thought, we'll probably get to the the 200 EMA and it'll reverse. This thing is looks like they when the MGIH and BMR halted, everybody was looking for something else to push around, and they decided let's go back to Hollow. DBGI is pushing up now.
See if DBGI can take 9 here. How's the spread on this looking? Still kind of spread. Still spread about 20 cents or even more in some cases.
Yeah.
But that is moving up here. Jay Rice mentioning SMCI. Boy, that dip got bought. This thing has just been absolutely crazy, right? I mean, just to add this, it's been completely vertical. on the daily chart here. As you can see yesterday, that dip is getting bought here. We'll see if we can actually move higher here. I'd like to see if this can move back towards that 800 level. For me, SMCI has been a no touch, right? I haven't been able to play this correctly on the way back up. I still think that this is likely going to come down. By the way, I'm seeing some calls come through on Benzinga Pro for SMCI. Interesting timing there.
Marcus Sniper was asking if Hollow is halted. It says suspended on my end, but it's pretty much
Hollow is halted. Here we go. Let's see here. Hollow, yep, halted right here. That is actually the first halt. MGIH halted, and looks like BMR and
MGIH isn't halted. It's just falling.
Express. Whoa. So ticker EXPR looks like that's down 32% here. Looks like that's halted. Reason not available. Interesting. All right, let me go back to the trading platform here.
Careful, it could be an offering.
Could be an offering. By the way, Tesla, this kind of caught my eye. Lynn and Randy, I know that you folks are taking a look here at Tesla. Looks like we really kind of bounced off that 182 here. Got about 3 points if you include the pre-market there. Nice little move here. SQQQ, this actually moved back to the VWAP here. Market really isn't bouncing, at least the SPY isn't bouncing all that significantly. NASDAQ is actually trading up here. If you take a look at the SQQQ, we've really kind of come back to the VWAP. So let's see if we actually make another move up there.
Yeah, I did shave a little bit off my SQQQ position in anticipation that we were going to get up to 12. We didn't really get up there. We got close, but never really up there exactly. So I'm going to just ride the rest that I have, see if we can get it above 12. But the SPY just continues to hang around in this within this $494 area. It's headed down at the moment, but we've been getting a support from that the bottom of the rising wedge. So OMH here, still hugging that VWAP area here. Let's see, it's trying to take off. Now, all I had to do was put this on screen here. Let's see if this $5 offer gets eaten. There we go. Moving higher here now on OMH, 520. There's some size there at the offer on 520, by the way. Things just kind of bouncing back and forth, going, kind of creating ranges, you know.
This OMH, that was a really kind of a quick move through 5. We're actually just dipped beneath 5 for a sec there. Here we go, back up to that 520 spot, some size there. Watch if this gets taken. OMH might go here.
Yeah, 6 is one of the levels I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I mean, that's a good. I mean, you look at the pre-market trading, pretty much between 5 and we'll call it 650. You got a supply zone you got to make your way through. So we'll call it, let's say 650 right there.
Looks like we're selling off from that 520 spot there. Jay here, good day to find names bucking the trend. Look for flat or green names like CMG that have already reported decent earnings. This is an awesome tip. This is actually one of the things that I talk about all the time. Look for relative strength, right? So on a day where the market is moving down, things that are moving up going to give you that relative strength. This works across all different types of stocks. Jay adding another leg in here. Looking for stocks that have reported earnings. Their earnings is already out of the way, especially if they're decent. That could be a really good move there. Yeah, it's a really good move there. SQQQ looks like it's coming up off that VWAP. We'll see where that settles here. OMH, we did pull back here to that 460. We have not really kind of broken through the VWAP here. It looks like we are getting some offers lined up here, or some stock lined up here on the offer side. We'll see if 477 falls. I'm going to try some here at 477. We'll see if they retake that and see if we bounce back above that VWAP. Would love to see this get above 5. We break this 465, just a real tight stop on this one. I'm trying to catch a bottom here, and we're right at the bottom, so I really don't want this to get any crazier to the downside. Brought in a bid there at 475. That's good to see. Looks like we're pushing it back up here on OMH. See if we can get back to 5.
If OMH comes down to about 415, I'll join you with this one.
Okay. Real quick here, BGLC halt fest to the upside. Tuna, I am now long this, so I will get to that as soon as I get out of this trade here. We'll see if we end up losing this.
Yeah, Lynn, just put Hollow on our radar again because it's back open, headed down and testing VWAP. If it holds, That might be a good
Here,
signal that this will go higher.
You know what I can do here is probably put this stop here. What do I have that at? There we go. Now, now I should be able to take a look at some of these other ones. We'll see if OMH can get back up towards 5. Holla if you guys see it. Otherwise, I'll stop out if this doesn't work. Let's take a look here at Hollow. It's working so far. So here is Hollow. That is open, and that's trying to find a new spot here. The other one that you mentioned was BGLC. That was the halt fest to the upside here. You know, what's interesting here is we really kind of broke the top end of this range off on this last halt. It'll be interesting to see if this can kind of pick up. Check on OMH. See if we get that move to 5 that we're really looking for. It is definitely encouraging to see these bids under where we're at here. Let me bring this stop loss up a little. There we go. We got 5.
The VIX is approaching 15.
We haven't seen 15 in a while here. OMH, real quick on this trade, 510. Let's see if that snaps here. And then we'll try to do what we were just talking about here, and maybe selling some and leaving some on in case the stock really runs. 510 seems to be the spot. They're definitely lining up some size there. Let's see if they take that. Remember, previous spot here was 520. So if they do take the stock here at 510, let's see if it goes to 520. There it is, 510 down. OMH on its way back up to 520. Let's see if we can get up there. At 520 spot's going to be decision time here. I've got 300 shares of this. I'm looking to lighten this. Actually, I'm actually going to lighten it right here. Okay, so now we got a trailer on. So we booked some gains. We've got a trailer on. Here comes 520. That's gone. This is exactly why I wanted to leave this trailer on. I did not want to see this happen. What happened yesterday? Let me now go ahead and take this. Okay, and then my stop is going to be at 463 to the downside on the remaining piece. So impossible to lose on that one. So nice little constructed trade there. We'll see what OMH does. Holla at me if you see it. Okay, Jay, trimming some more shop. That trade really working out here. You got several points now. Good morning, Miles. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us here. Jay, the shop trade looking pretty good here in the morning. So I think what I like the most there, you looked at the earnings report, you said that the numbers really weren't that bad. Thought that maybe this is just kind of an overreaction and you'll play a regression back to the mean. I like that one. Shopify a little bit high here, 82.20. Not very much size there. This looks like this might try to go higher here. You get a register ring for that early on. Okay, God, I missed a lot of stuff in the chat. You guys are flying here. MLGO being mentioned. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, RSVN was also getting mentioned. I saw that too. That's halted up.
MLGO, penny stock making a run for that $1 area. Here is RVSN that you were mentioning, 13, halted to the upside, 935. How many times are we going to see this stock halt every day?
That was David Lynn pointing that out.
Okay, Jay, we're peeling back the onions here on your trading plan, the onion layers, I beg your pardon. Peeling back those layers here on your trading plan. Love this too. The expected move was 1170. So using the option pricing to determine the expected move here. Shop closed at about 89, $11 less than that is going to be about $78. Jay, I think your buy was at 77 and change. Pretty awesome there that's how you can use that information, by the way. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, you probably know better than I do. The way that you would calculate that manually is you'd add the call and the put at the current month, the current at the money call and put together, and then multiply by 80, right? Something like 8.80%.
Wow, Carmen, are you serious? $7 a share and it's trying to go up? Is that right?
I'll check right here. Let me get Pro out here real quick.
Oh, that was much earlier this morning. So this is already known.
Yeah, so the public offering, that was actually yesterday. The PR, so here, let me bring this up on screen and we can kind of sort through this here. This is what Carmen, I believe, is referring to. Carmen, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. But BMR announces pricing of a $12 million public offering. This came last night, 8:02 p.m. So to 13's point, that was baked into the pre-market here already today.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought that was what they were
Gotcha.
so long about, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And it's still going up off that. But no, I misunderstood that.
Gotcha.
Thank you for pointing that out.
BMR moving back towards the highs there. OM broke out. OMH broke out. Okay. This is okay. What I'm really, and here we go. So a little bit more size here at 550. We'll see if this clears. What I'm really happy about here is that we recognized maybe I don't necessarily want to call it weakness, although it is bordering on the line of weakness there. We noticed something that we didn't do correctly yesterday, and we made plans to change it today, and that's already worked. So remember, I'm only a very, very small position left here, but I've actually already booked gains on the way up on 2/3 of that position. So it's going to be much easier for me to hold this here. We are breaking out of this formation. I'd like to get a little bit more. I'd actually really like to see a 7 test here. I do have a stop already that makes it impossible for me to lose on this trade. So we talk a little bit about here we go. OMH now making a move towards 6 here. This is exactly what we wanted to see. We'll see if we can actually keep moving higher than that. Love to see 7 get tested. Sorry.
Hollow might be forming a bull pennant. And right now, at this very moment, it doesn't have a lot of great volume. But if that volume comes in, we could lift past the high it already made intraday at $20.34. Keep this on your radar. This might be setting up.
No, you're absolutely right on that. By the way, BMR halted again here, 2038. 2038. OMH continuing here, looking like we'll see if we take 6 out here on OMH. Probably need to move my stop up. No.
I mean, I always think it's a good idea if it's not, if it's kind of stagnating, you know?
Yeah, I do too. The thing is that on this breakout, I mean, I would like a little bit more on this trailer, and this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. A real quick pullback here. Now we'll see how long this pullback gives us, or we'll see how deep this pullback goes. It's like maybe we're bouncing here. If we get past this, I'll definitely move the stop up. 520 seems to be about a good spot for that stop. Again, the whole point of what I'm trying to do here is capture if we get one of those bigger breakout moves to the upside. So don't necessarily want to react when we're not getting that move. If we're getting something else, kind of want to wait for the expected move or the move that I'm hoping for.
Low of the day in SPY is 493.80, and we're knocking on the door there of that.
All right, let's take a look here at the SPY real quick. Jan, I saw your comment here, but now it disappeared. Jan, hey, Ryan, how are you doing? Long time no see. Jan, it's good to be seen. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Is the question. Doing well, though.
Well, and I don't think that's unreasonable to feel that way. I don't think it's unreasonable at all. New lows in SPY.
I don't either. And there you go. New lows on SPY. One of the things I'm obviously watching SQQQ, which is tied to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is rolling over here. Didn't print new lows yet, but looks like maybe it will make a return back down towards those lows. That should be interesting if that does. Okay, giving us, here we go, Jay, another swing setup. 13. I know you're going to like this one because you've talked about doing this as well. IBM here, Jay saying anywhere near the 180, 182. I'm a buyer. Earnings are already out, pulled back from the high at 195. Remember, this is the OG AI play. They've been doing AI for a long time. We've discussed this ad nauseum in the happy hour chat. What's your plan on IBM? Didn't you have a thesis or levels on IBM?
Oh, I still have IBM. I've been holding it for a long time. My cost basis is actually close to $100. So I'm actually going to go speak with my my fiduciary today. So I'll ask him what their analysts are saying, and if it sounds good, I'll add more. But this is one of the OG AI plays. I've had this one for years. Great company. It just doesn't get as noticed. It's not as exciting as like some of these Mag 7s, but they are doing really, really good in terms of their business solution segment.
And that could also make it fairly easy to trade, right? Like this OG doesn't really move around a whole lot. Really like the plan here given by Jay. We're only really talking about 15 total points here. Pretty easy to actually end up trading that one. So IBM, good stuff here. All right, let's take a look back at OMH, see where we're at there. Looks like maybe we're coming in lower here. Couldn't take out that 6. We'll stay in here. Haven't adjusted the stop yet. We'll stay in this. Actually, I'm going to put stop at break even. Let me get this recenter off here. Now we're moving back up. This is exactly why I kind of just wanted to sit this out, right? Didn't necessarily want to. Here, we're going to stop at 5. So this comes back into 5. We're going to end up taking our gains. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we go higher and break out. Remember, first 2 legs, 2/3 of this trade already booked. SQQQ coming back in. Full disclosure here in my regular account, I'm not going to let the SQQQ trade go red on me. So I will stop out if necessary. Definitely don't want to take a loss on that. I know it's just a hedge, but now that we got it back here, I'll take the hedge off if needed. Not going to sit through some losses. OMH, let's see if this curls up. Little size here, 563. Remember that 6 spot is what stopped it before.
Carmen, I think the dividend is one of the big reasons why I even got into that. I agree. It's a great company, and I'm holding it for a while.
And shout out to you, 13, because you often give us decent dividend play ideas throughout the course of happy hour and, of course, the happy hour chat. So shout out to you.
Sometimes I do. All right.
Laura saying here we go. Laura saying, I'm about to sell all my stocks for Bitcoin. I can't recommend what you do. You do you, boo, as the kids say. But what I will say is it's probably smart to have an allocation of both. 13, what do I need to bring up here?
Hollow. The thing that I was telling you about, it's doing the thing.
It's doing the thing.
Yeah, so that was a bull pennant that it was forming on the 5-minute chart that I had. And this was the breakout that I was looking for. So that was a good trade.
There you go.
It looks like this might have some more legs on it too, if some EMAs can cross VWAP.
We did just pull back here to the VWAP. This is kind of all over the place here. This is that volatility that you'll see.
It's very spread too.
Yeah, no question. Gary, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. I'm new to the group. First morning listening. Where and how do we see your trades? Well, we will mention any of the trades that we take. So too will the chat. But if you're looking at the screen right now, this is the actual trading platform that I'm using, provided by Trade the Pool. You can see that my open positions are down here. I have also filled orders. You'll be able to see some of the booked gains here as well. But I leave this on the position, so they're always going to be on screen unless I flip over to Benzinga Pro for news. But enjoy yourself, my man. Love to know what you're taking a look at here this morning. Caleb saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Be careful.
Don't do what?
Trade hollow, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that's what he's referring to, but I guess we should make sure first.
And if you do it, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, I'm sorry. This might have been in response to moving all the assets to Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up. Sorry if I misspeak there.
Yeah, I agree. Don't do that. Don't move everything you have into Bitcoin. Diversify. Oh, RSVN's finally open. And,
big fan of diversification.
Yeah, RSVN's finally open. And I guess it opened and halted immediately because it looks like we are dealing with 2 halts already. I guess I haven't been following it closely enough to know for sure, but it just looks like we've halted twice already in RSVN.
Thankfully, we can actually use Benzinga Pro to confirm that. You are correct, 13. This is the second upside halt for RSVN as per the signals tool. So good stuff there. Back to the trading platform here.
Hollow is doing the thing. Woohoo! Go Hollow.
Hollow, big push here. Awesome job on that one, 13. Awesome hook.
Yeah, we're about to get a 9 EMA crossing VWAP on my chart. That could push it further up.
We're going to probably... Sorry, go ahead. No, you weren't done. You weren't done. That's not the first time that you've done that to me. Real quick, BGLC, the halt fest that you guys mentioned earlier, that pushing the highs here. 13, man. Laughter is the best medicine.
Oh yeah, we got to have fun while we're doing this. This is crazy stuff.
Oh, that's
And yeah, Hollow is just ripping right now. I'm looking to see when this is going to halt, but it's probably because it's just spread that it's moving so well. I don't really think the share sizes that we're seeing here are anything to really get excited about.
looks like just retail trading here.
Yeah.
Jay mentioning UNG at this price, they'll be giving it away cheaper than bottled water. You know, this is one of the things that makes natural gas so difficult to trade. I know a lot of traders really like oil because of the leverage and the movement that you can get if you're correct. But of course, don't forget, it can move in the opposite direction. Natural gas, when they have too much, they flare it off. Giving it away cheaper than bottled water, definitely. I mean, that can definitely be the case here. You see UNG, this down even more here. I think they got snow in New York today too. I don't know. I know a lot of people try to trade this as the weather goes or try to track it with the weather. I'm not, I've never really had some success with that, to be honest.
We've discussed that in Happy Hour before about how a lot of these, those contracts, those prices are bought months in advance. So
yeah,
we're not, you know, what you're trading now is going to be off of different movement.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Real quickly, proud to be, it is Hollow, ticker HOLO. That is Hotel Oscar Lima Oscar. Crow mentioning DBGI coming off the lows here.
Ooh.
So maybe this did kind of find that bottom around 6. This is spread about 20 some cents, 20 plus cents here. So keep that in mind.
DBGI looks like we could probably go under 5 and then reverse it. I don't like these lower shadows that they got.
Stopped out of OMH, by the way. So that was a really good trade. We did it correctly the entire way, right? We bought on the support, bought on the lows, didn't chase the price up, sold into the volume strength, kept the trailer on just in case it ran. It didn't. We ended up stopping out for a gain. We are all wrapped up in OMH 1 for 1 on the day for day trades.
9 EMA crossing VWAP and Hollow push it up higher, and now it's almost at $24.
Man, Hollow, this is a big move here again. I know this stock's no stranger to it. Really kind of took off that 2040 area, went higher here.
Oh, Hollow. Cattle has some FDA news that could be good.
CADL here. Let me pull while we're looking at that. Let me pull that news up here in Benzinga Pro. I will read it to you.
Maybe it hasn't hit the wire yet.
Yeah, this is CAN 3110 receives FDA fast track designation for treatment of recurrent high grade glioma. I think that's it. But yeah.
Oh, I see what happened here.
So it says gains fast track treatment for its brain cancer treatment. That was causing it to move up 33% here. It's a good spot here.
Yeah, good job.
You're welcome. Proud to be. No big deal. No big deal. And that's the other thing. If you guys can't, if I'm kind of going over the tickers either too fast or they're not audible or they're not understandable, stop me. I definitely want to make sure that you guys are getting the correct tickers there.
We also had a mention on Penn Gaming.
Let's take a look at Penn. There were a number of people that wanted to trade DraftKings and Penn for the Super Bowl. That trade certainly looks like a sell the news event. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm sorry, I was reading. What'd you say?
Yeah, we had talked a lot about some of these gambling stocks in reference to the Super Bowl as we were approaching the Super Bowl. Sure looks like the Super Bowl was a sell the news.
Yes, it's kind of been that way for ever since like DraftKings at least has come onto the market. It would sell off shortly after the Super Bowl and into their earnings, which is coming up this week.
Indeed. Check a couple of things here real fast.
Okay, so Penn has an agreement to acquire mobile sports wagering licenses for New York market access. I guess that's one of the reasons why Penn hasn't run as much as DraftKings, right? They just don't have the market allowance. Yeah,
and I think isn't Penn more? Don't they have more brick and mortar exposure than DraftKings?
I don't know.
I feel like it's considered.
You're probably right about
that. OMH looks like a big pull, right? Pretty much down to the levels where we bottomed out in the pre-market. Again, really happy with how we structured the entry and exit here. Really kind of kept us safe. and really made it a stress-free trade, right? It worked out right away. We're able to scale out of that one. So OMH, we'll see if this sets back up, coming back up to the VWAP here.
Looks like Beamer popped to 2170, and now we're coming down. And MGIH also coming down, so they are not going to be the 1,000% runners they were yesterday. Well, MGIH wasn't, but it was in the hundreds.
Flip back over here. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks that we've been seeing moving around here. DBGI would be one of those.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say size at 660 that they took. Maybe this is curling back towards the VWAP here.
Yeah, I want to see it get back above VWAP. I think that it's going to go lower, and I might be wrong about that, but it just doesn't look palatable to me right now.
Hollow 2434 on Hollow halted.
Yeah, this thing was a ripper. Looks like the SPY is printing new intraday lows. As a matter of fact, this might be the new lows for 1, 2, 3 for the past 4 days. Which means SQQQ, it's not really moving up a whole lot.
No, it's curling though, and I'm kind of watching that here on another screen as well. Also watching DBGI because it sure looks like DBGI is going to try and close this gap up to the VWAP here. This is just an intraday 3-minute chart, but it sure looks like that's where we're at here. Yeah. PDD and BABA are worth watching. Caleb, interestingly enough, we still have the Lunar New Year. So some of these Asian markets are still closed, less participation in them. I think that's one of the reasons we were seeing less volume in the SPY yesterday. But on top of that, some of these Chinese names might not be getting as much trading action as they normally do. Here's PDD and BABA. These charts actually, intraday charts look the same. Good morning, MD. It's great to see you.
Hello there, MD.
AULT penny stock that just kind of popped here. Just kind of rolling around things that I see here.
That one, I think that one we may have traded before. It looks like Rail Vision's open again.
Here's DBGI looking like it's almost closed that gap up to the VWAP. Here's Rail Vision.
So many things going sideways.
X-Sniper asking about a Discord. So no, we don't have a Discord. Let me show you why. I do have something that I recommend for you, but we don't have a Discord because we actually developed our own native chat community in our flagship Newswire and scanner platform here. So this is Benzinga Pro. If I open up the chat room, you actually have access to multiple rooms. In fact, here is the happy hour channel that 13 is active in, but there are a ton of different rooms here for you. For example, if you wanted to follow Anne-Marie Band's trading, she's a professional trader that does options trades. She gives her trades out every morning as well as her market updates. And we have plenty of other rooms dedicated to crypto, day trading, options. So no Discord, but check out Benzinga Pro. You can get a free 2-week trial, no credit card required. All you need is an email. And give it a shot, see if it helps you, see if you like the trading room. We got you covered from all angles, man. Good to see you this morning.
Yeah, I thought there was a Discord at one point, and it just didn't have enough people managing it, or just didn't have the participation. Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of insight on that. I don't want to speak for other people, but what I can say is we have a lot of different areas where you can communicate with the community, and it was just easier to consolidate that under Pro, which is our flagship popular product. So you can always bring that up as feedback. That's something that we design our entire ecosystem around, but that's what happened.
All right. Well, you were right on DBGI. That thing is now back up to VWAP and just trading slightly over it. It's got a wall at 750 it needs to get through, but once it does, whoever spotted this one, sorry for cutting you there, 13.
Okay. That wasn't my intention. Whoever spotted, I think this was Crow, right? This really bottomed out here. What's interesting when I'm taking a look at this, using the Tuna 3-minute chart here in the MACD, the setup that Tuna uses, the MACD is telling you that, but I was a little late to this because these signal lines weren't crossing. Nonetheless, great spot here. We did get the VWAP. If you were trading this out of this consolidation, using the trade plan that I was kind of talking about earlier, this would be an opportunity to shave some and then maybe keep a trailer on. X Sniper, yes, the chat room, Benzinga Pro and all of the subsequent chat rooms are open 24/7. On top of that, the automated API endpoints for news also run 24/7. So if there's a press release issued at 11 p.m., you'll see it at 11 p.m. on the dot. Good question.
And sometimes I post on the weekends. Also, DBGI, I think 850 is the next level that I got. So that's a level to watch for if we can get through. Oh, we did get through 750. So 850 is the next level I have. But yeah, yes, the chat, we're frequently in there. So
I'll tell you what, the chat's so good that when I went on vacation, I went back to the chat room just to see what you guys are doing and talk to you. That's how good I was having a great vacation. But I was like, you know what? Our chat community's aces. So we're going to go back there. DBGI Crow, this was a great call, dude. You had the perfect entry on this. That's something that I've really been focusing on my own trading here, is making some sharper entries. You nailed this one, dude. Nailed it.
Yeah, that was an awesome one.
Up. We're leveling up in here, 13. That's what we do all day, every day. Miles mentioning VSIG. This is another one that people can kind of watch in recently. VSIG here, this really hasn't done anything, but maybe it's bottomed. Maybe that selling is done. Intraday low here, 131.
Okay.
CXW, this is Core Civic. Looks like the dip this morning was bought. Let me check this out on my bigger chart here real fast. This actually kind of looks like an interesting daily chart. Let me bring this up so you folks can see what I'm taking a look at here. So here we go. Here is CXW. You can see this area that we're at right here is a current resistance area that was former support. So it looks like we lost this support back in March of 2020, right around COVID. It's taken a little while, but we're right back up to this level. And then if we zoom in on this recent activity, you can see we're banging on the door here at 15, trying to knock this down. Keep this one on radar for a potential swing long. It's Core Civic, ticker CXW. This is an interesting daily setup here. Let's see if we break this off. I'm going to actually add this one to my watch list. Let me go back to my trading platform here. Just kind of spotted this one, wanted to mention it. Good daily chart there.
I don't have any news or analysis on UNG. It was just being asked if we could review it. But when I look at the daily chart, it does have a pretty interesting candle today. Looks like it could be bottoming. Not saying that it is, but it looks like it could be.
Is this the UNG daily that you just mentioned? Let me bring that up here
sir.
For some visual aid.
Yeah, you zoom into the price action today. We gapped down, and now we have this this little bit of a hammer that we're making right now.
Yeah, so what you're saying here is maybe this is forming a bottoming candle and a potential swing long opportunity.
Yeah, it just looks. I mean, you can look at the RSI. We've really come down pretty handily over the past, this all month, to be honest. And this looks like it's trying to find a bottom.
Okay,
looks like to me.
And we'll see if we get that tradable bottom here. Remember, we've called natural gas the widowmaker, so giving you all the warning that we possibly can here. Let me roll back to the trading platform here. Bam, bam, bam. Hey, Donald, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Leg missed earnings, falling out of bed right now. I just researched it yesterday. Well, hey, at least you know more about it right now.
Yeah, my leg falls asleep sometimes too when I get up out of bed.
This thing, nothing but sell candles from the open here. Nothing but sell candles.
DBGI coming in now.
Let's take a look at that real fast. Caleb saying Boyle looks like it's bottomed for the past 3 years. That's exactly it, Caleb. Looks like the Widowmaker. Hollow open, moving to the downside here. Boy, that was fast. So this again, 13, showing us that, hey, don't overstay your welcome. right? And this also talking about the OMH trade earlier today, this can be another reason why you want to set up some of those orders to scale out and then stop out of your remaining position. I mean, if you were playing hollow on the way up here, you can really kind of protect yourself by making sure you're not sitting through some of these big knives here. Hollow pulling back, stopping at the VWAP. We'll see if we get another setup here on hollow.
Yeah, type 1 or hit like if you ever thought to yourself, well, maybe it goes higher and you stay in, and then you get the price drops and you get killed in the trade. There you go.
I went ahead and typed 1 because that's happened to me plenty of times. That's absolutely happened to me plenty of times.
Yeah. So to Ryan's point, don't overstay your welcome. If you see good gains, you're hitting the percentages you're trying to at least go for. Manage the trade, get out, take your profits, do whatever you need to. Just don't lose.
Live to fight another day. Hollow continuing to move down here. Interestingly, 13. We talked about SQQQ. The NASDAQ gapped lower and then bounced a little bit, but unlike the SPY, which kept breaking down, it really kind of held in there. As a result, SQQQ really has not been able to break out towards that 12 level that we talked about. The good news here, though, is it is actually really kind of holding in this range here. We're kind of flagging. And we saw yesterday how sometimes when we get these flags, we're definitely going to break out. Is it going to break out or break down? We're not, never really sure here. This, to me, looks like maybe we do take another leg down here. I'm looking over at Apple. That looks like it's holding in. Tesla looks like its bounce might be done. Netflix is doing an all right job holding in. I guess we should take a look at some of the bigger guys here. Here's NVIDIA. This actually looks like it might roll over. We'll see what happens here at VWAP.
Did I know you were talking about SMCI earlier. Did that come in?
A little bit here. Yeah, it's in a little bit here, but there's nothing really crazy here. Looks like 750 was your intraday low here. SMCI is in the IWM.
I don't think it belongs there. That's just my opinion. I don't think it belongs there.
I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that thing's been moving, it might have to get reevaluated for another index.
OMH with another red knife. So here you go. So again, this was traded. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I made a kind of a bonehead move yesterday. I assessed what I did. I said, this is how we're going to correct it. We did that today, and it protected me from the stock that's knifing down. Really happy. DBGI, we're seeing those ticker flood the chat. Here we go to new highs. Looks like this is going to get halted, isn't it?
It could.
I don't know what the halt level is off the top of my head here, but we'll see. BMR, by the way, that is halted.
SPY is just continuing to make new lows. Okay, now it looks like we're about to halt with DBGI.
Yep, 1082. I don't see it yet. I'll call it when it prints here in signals. Good morning, John. Good to see you. Good to see you. Halted in DBGI, indeed. Indeed.
Now OMH is really selling off.
OMH is really selling off. SQQQ curling up. Let's see. All right, 13. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back, boss.
You got it. Hollow is now starting to try to reverse here, getting caught from the 15 EMA on the 5-minute. And what else are we looking at, folks? Kind of funny that all the gold bugs told you inflation was over, and then we see gold get whacked and didn't participate for the last 3 months. Yeah, that's and then I think that's one of the reasons why we're also seeing some activity with Bitcoin too, is because people want to find other assets that they can store their value in. Bitcoin not looking great today, though. NISN, it's another one I had on my radar, not really coming off this bounce here. What else are you folks looking at? DBGI, still halted. Looks like Hollow's making its way back up. Folks doing Hollow? LAES. Remember this old girlfriend, everybody? LAES is a slow-moving, steadily rising stock right now. It just moved up above its 200 EMA on the 5-minute. DBGI still halted. BMR still halted, but to the downside.
All right, sorry about that, my man.
No problem. Who shorted at the CPI read this morning? I'm guessing that you did, MD.
Nice little smiley face.
Little
there.
smile there. No, let's ask. Okay, who shorted? Let's find out.
I didn't add the position today, but I was in a short position via SQQQ mentioned yesterday.
Yeah, and we were talking about what to look for yesterday. We were basically saying if it's going to be 3 or above on the print, that's probably going to not be great for the market because the expectation is we're going under 3, and I guess the expectation was 2.9, and we got 3.1. So this is what the result is. It's just a lot of things are, if they're not these runners that we're talking about, these low float runners, a lot of things just kind of seem stagnant.
J. Michael shorting Mara and PLTR. That's interesting. Playing for the Bitcoin regression back to the mean. I'll tell you what, John, or J. Michael, excuse me, that trade paid. That trade paid. Let us know what your target is there. PLTR. It's funny too. Andy from our happy hour was saying at some point this thing's expensive. It is going to make a decent short. Tons of stock outstanding though. It's had a pretty big run recently. PLTR here down from yesterday's highs.
Hollow is coming back.
By the way, Zim holding right here at 12. I know we talked about potential ads under 12 on Zim. And market actually, that looks like that sell-off here. Let's take a look here at SQQQ. That sell-off, look at this. Looks like we're bouncing a little bit here. That sell-off very, very short-lived, at least on the tech side.
Well, I see on the SPY that we're trying to come up and re-enter that wedge. So, I would hope, and I hate using that word in the market, but I would hope that we find that as resistance and continue to trade down. RSVN, looks like that one might be going lower. FAMI's going lower.
And to Jay's point here, SMCI going green now. Well, that tech definitely moving up here.
Going green, just like in Twister, greenage.
Did you see the Super Bowl twisters? Is that Twister 2? Is that basically what?
I don't know how they're going to do Twister 2. Two of the best actors in the first one are dead now.
Yeah, I mean, is it like, I don't even know. I just saw the ad and I was like, oh my God, is this Twister 2? Is it a sequel? Is it its own thing? I don't know the answer.
It's Twisters. That's what they're calling it. And I have no idea what it's about. And I don't know if I'm going to be interested in seeing it. If it really does show you how little Hollywood has left in the imagination tank.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sequels and remakes. I mean, there's just so little original thought for movies these days that it's just really making everything boring.
And that's the thing. Like I'm not big on Hollywood even a little bit. But what I will say is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to watch some of these films that aren't the normal fit. Like I'm not interested in any more superhero movies. I'm just gonna flat out say that. Like I'm just not interested in that. Like give me something new and different. I'll try stuff, right? I'll even try stuff. I do like watching in the comfort of my own home though.
I'm looking forward to seeing Dune Part 2 though.
Yeah, that actually does look pretty interesting. Right now I've got myself engrossed in a book that happens to be a 3-part series, and it is really good. Really, really good. So I'm not even missing a film right now.
I like Market Sniper's comment. That movie made me love the Dodge Ram Twister.
Oh, Twister. Yeah, that's
she's
pretty
flying.
Good. Pretty good product placement there, right?
Yeah. They drove. I mean, they drove it through a house, so it was really good marketing for them. Look at LAES is starting to move again. Sorry.
We'll take a look at LAES here. Carmen saying, no kidding, very rare to see a movie with a plot formula that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Dude, Shannon, 90s movies, early 2000 was the end of the movie IMAG. So I have a YouTube video for you, Shannon, that 13 shared with me that eloquently covers this. I'm extremely happy to see this exact comment because you're literally reading my mind. Stopped out of SQQQ for a little bit of a gain there, so really not much. That was my hedge. So I actually got out of my hedge with a gain while also having my regular portfolio going up during the time I held that hedge. So really can't be mad at that. Didn't make a whole lot of money, but at least that exposure is done here. Here you go. Jay Rice, here you go, 13. Para had the Super Bowl, biggest audience since the 1979 moon landing. They laid off 800 employees today.
Paramount? Is that what you're talking about? P-A-R-A, Paramount?
Yeah, I think Paramount had the Super Bowl. I think you're right, though. I think that Paramount was one of those channels that you could have streamed it on. But here's the Para chart. You can see this is nothing but down.
Yeah, this is. I think they're still trying to merge with Warner Brothers Discovery. Both these companies, it seems like it's one of those JetBlue, Spirit Airlines situations where they kind of need each other more than they don't. But I don't even think that merging together is going to solve all the problems they have. They still seem to have a content problem. A lot of these streamers do. Anyway. Paramount Plus. Hollow on the move? It certainly has been.
Paramount Plus. Okay. Awesome.
Look at LAES at
yeah, I mentioned I was going to bring that up here.
Yeah, that one had a nice move here. It's still so, I mean, it's moving nicely, but it's also slow at the same time.
But I tell you what, NASDAQ's still holding up here. I tell you what, though, looking across, let's take a look at some of these stocks. SMCI, we already talked about that going green. NVIDIA, that's green here. Micron's still lower here. Let's take a look at SMH. SMH still lower here. It looks like just some names up here.
Yeah, we're back up into that wedge.
What's ARM doing? ARM's still down here.
So we're trading an arm and a leg today, right? I think somebody posted leg earlier, LEG.
Arm and a leg. Let's go.
We also had tickers eyes and ears. I wonder when we get the full body parts.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. I don't see those tickers here anymore.
Eyes and ears they were like these low.
Yeah, they were just those
biotechs.
crummy things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And S&P is our spies, making its way back up into here, trying to get to 95.
Let me check the Twitter streets and see if anything's going on. Just give me a moment here.
Sure, I'll look at news here, see what else we get.
I see CSPI being mentioned. I'm not sure what the deal is, but let's take a look at it. Actually, this has been a pretty decent daily chart. It's really been running recently. You guys are mentioning OMH might give another entry. You guys are saying that it's bottomed here. So here we go. So if we take a look at this here, this is one of the areas. It didn't really consolidate, just kind of drifted up through this area. I'm not sure how good the support is here, but you're absolutely right. Looks like it's rounding off this 340 area. I guess maybe we could call it 350. Maybe it overshot 350 a little bit there. We'll see here on OMH if this makes a move back to the VWAP. On a trade here, I would actually have to put stop at the intraday low here, 341, whatever that candle printed right at the bottom. That would have to be my stop here.
I would want to see this get above 425 first. I think this might go lower. I know I said that before about TVGI, and I was wrong, so I could be wrong about this one too, but I just don't like the way this.
Tell us what you see. We're not going to criticize you for being wrong. As we've all talked about, you can be wrong. You just can't stay wrong.
So it's trying to trade back up to the 65 EMA. It's beneath it right now. At the same time, we also have the 9 and 15 coming down to cross down beneath the 65 EMA. And when we get these crossings to the downside, it tends to make the price go lower. So I think we could be going lower. I'd be looking to see if we can maybe get a bounce closer to 280.
Check GBGI. Crow here. Yet again, shorts dust off them resumes. Back to the job for you. Crow, you must have had a really bad run-in with a short seller at some point in your life. You seem like you had them in your crosshairs. DBGI, by the way, continuing to move higher here. This looks like this is going to set new highs right now. DBGI, Crow calling 13 on that. We're right at 12 here. I'm not buying up here. The buy was earlier here off the support or the VWAP cross. Not going to chase it here.
Yeah, 13, maybe even all the way up to 1420, 1425.
Tuna giving us one of his patented trades here, FAMI, taking some FAMI and ARBB from the bottom. So it looks like FAMI here, perhaps the selling has been exhausted. Maybe we're at the bottom here. Low print of the day, 137, current bid 139. So FAMI right there. The other one you mentioned, Smoke Tuna, ARBB. This one does look like maybe it's come off the bottom. I have a low intraday print here of where is that? Really? You're not going to give that to me here? 232. Let's see if I can get back down there. I got to take this recenter off. That's kind of annoying. Don't see it printed here. It looks like 232 intraday bottom here on ARBB. This one does look like maybe this is curled. We do have a pretty good range back up to the VWAP.
Uh-oh, we're getting some pullback in some of these. Hollow looks like it could go a little bit more too if it can hold above its VWAP.
Bring that up here. Here is how this on the 3-minute chart here, to my eye, this sure looks like this is going to roll over. It looks like these signal lines in the MACD have kind of slowed down. Looks like the histogram might be expanding to the downside. We'll see on Hollow.
All right. I would think that OMH is going to fall and go lower intraday within the next 5 minutes.
HKIT. Coming back to the VWAP here on HKIT.
All right. Hollow is going. Or trying to. Anyway.
So much for it rolling over.
I think the one that's going to roll over is OMH.
Yeah, I think you're right. Looks that way. Remember, stop at that low a day there.
Yeah.
And SQQQ, your first stop is your best stop. Really glad I stopped out of that. That has kept moving lower here as the NASDAQ continues to trade up.
It might reverse here.
The NASDAQ, you mean?
The SQQQ. It might reverse here.
So you might turn back up here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at both the SPY and SQQ. I know that they're not, I know I probably should be looking at the QQQ and SQQQ, but I'm watching the SPY. And we're coming up to a point where it looks like it could pull back a bit.
Lunar, Jonathan, nice move here. This looks like this sold off, bounced from 5. We just printed 6, so an entire dollar move here on Lunar with no halts. This is actually a little bit more orderly, probably easier for us to trade.
To the moon, Lunar. Still waiting for Hollow to kind of get out of this range here.
I see NVIDIA 725 call sweeps. SMCI puts, although I don't think those were very big. Let me check the size on that. No, those were tiny. Never mind. I'm actually surprised that got flagged. Let me actually apply another filter on here. I can remove some of that stuff manually. There we go.
BGLC halted to the downside. I don't think I even have looked at that one yet today.
BGLC, this was the halt fest on the way up. Now we've halted back down towards the VWAP. We're right there at 135.
Look at all those gaps.
So here's an interesting, let's discuss this. Let's discuss this here as a group. Jay mentioning that SMCI and NVIDIA, not sure, 13. If the bears can't keep these names red after huge moves, that seems bullish. What say you, 13? He's addressing you directly.
Let me pull those up. I want to see what he's talking about.
I can bring them up as a visual aid while we're talking about it.
Yeah, the bears need to be stronger. I agree. But with how extended the market is, I don't think they should be having this hard of a time taking this down unless the bulls are just not selling. I think I would just go back to what I was saying about the SPY. If we can stay above 494, then the market could recover. We could go higher. We could make new highs. So I would say that kind of translates across all the big movers like SMCI and NVIDIA as well. I want to see the broader market lower, and then I'll feel more confident in saying, yeah, the bears got this. But I to a degree, I agree with that. If the bears can't keep these red after these huge moves, yes, it does seem bullish, at least in the short term.
And, one of the things that we've been talking about are the dips getting bought. Kevin here saying, agree, I bought the pullback. We're seeing the same thing here. This is one of the reasons why I was okay stopping out of SQQQ, right? Because I kind of feel the same way. Like, I am in the camp where I think the market really needs to sell off, but the market doesn't give one damn about what I think about it. It is going to do its thing regardless, and it's my job to kind of react to that. To Jay's point here, yes, these things showing weakness early, then reversing and moving higher, that does tell me that there's some strength here. The underlying worry for me is that we have so much concentration and strength in these 7 names. It worries me that these are the ones. We recently saw the breadth kind of spreading out. That's what I'd like to see. I think that's one of the things that you were mentioning there. You'd like to see it market-wide, 13. You'd like to see the breadth of stocks that are really trading well or coming up off their lows increase, as opposed to it being localized to some of these really popular Mag 7 stocks.
Yeah, I think it's going to need a little bit more help from the broader market to get it down. We're just kind of going sideways right now. I do think that it's going to see SPY go a little bit lower here, but we're starting to form an inverse head and shoulders intraday.
So here's that CCK that I talked about earlier here for a potential swing long. We dipped a little bit here, but maybe the selling is over here on CCK.
I want to say Hollow's going to try to go higher. It might, but this market is looking exhausted already. Starting to see some selling in SPY. But yeah, if you whenever you have a moment, if you want to pull up like a 5-minute in SPY, you can see how we're just getting an inverse head and shoulders formation.
Yeah, let's do that.
If we resolve this, then we're probably going to end up getting back up to close to 500, if not over 500.
Okay, so here is your 5-minute SPY chart.
Yeah, so you can just see this stuff based on the price action that we've made today. We've come down, made a left shoulder, we've made a head. Now we're coming back up to the neckline. Next stop would be to make the right shoulder, which would take us down to somewhere under 494, probably down about 493 and 85 cents. And then we should see the price reverse and come back up and start to make its way to 496. If that happens, we'll probably end up moving closer to 500 before the end of the day.
Okay. Really good stuff there, 13. Appreciate that.
No problem. BMR is back.
Yeah, Caleb bringing up more than the Mag 7 have had a good year. Look at stuff like Affirm and Shop. Now, that's interesting that you bring those up because 13 and I were just discussing how the buy now, pay later thing really kind of worries us. If the consumer continues to weaken, I expect the buy now, pay later stocks to get hit. So just something to keep in mind there, Caleb. This is a good point, though. Affirm, that was a huge move. I can't believe that thing printed 50s again. Yeah, let's take a look here at BMR real quick. Sorry, 13.
No problem. It's Shopify, Affirm, PayPal, and then Bread Holdings, I believe, which is, let me just pull that one up here.
PayPal weaker here today. Affirm really weak here today. Wow. So this is 39 from that 51 high print here.
BHF is Bread Holdings.
I don't own Affirm, but I own Shop. Well, if you own Shop today, actually Jay was trading Shop quite well here today. Shop had a really nice move off the bottom here. What's this, 77 to 83? Nice little 6-point move in there that Jay had actually captured earlier here. Good stuff though on Shop. Like I was saying before, Shopify, it seems to be kind of thrown into some of the things that I've been purchasing recently, and it's given me stuff like Shop credit where I've gotten discounts on things that I would buy anyway. So it's kind of cool, but I'd never seek it out. And maybe I'm not the target customer for
it. Caleb, because Shopify has exposure to that kind of financial transaction system, some of their purchases are financed that way. or they have the option to be financed that way. I think they have their own in-house brand of buy now, pay later. So that's why I'm concerned about them on that side of that exposure. They do have that buy now, pay later aspect.
My average on shop is below 30. Well, make sure you're at least booking some gains on the way up. Hopefully you're trading around your core there. Monster move. You're up over 100% currently, 150% right now.
And you guys could be right. It might not affect Shopify as much since they have other segments of their business that, pull money in and help them. But companies like PayPal and Affirm, where that's what they do, that could be pretty bad for them. BGLC halted.
Pull that up here. Sorry, I was checking the Twitter streets.
Yeah, and Carmen with a great point about the folks who are earning good dollars, and then there's yellow spenders. I think it was her comment above that. But the report that we got from the New York Fed Bank on household credit, I thought it was bad last year. It's even worse now. And it's very concerning, especially if we start getting job losses. So now you'll have a bunch of people saddled with debt who don't have income, and there's not going to be a way to pay them. Well, what happens to the companies that can't get that debt paid off? They have to have credit loss provisions.
Yep.
If they don't have enough provision for that, then it's going to tap into their the funds that they haven't set aside for that, and it could be bad financially for them.
And that can affect their earnings. Absolutely. Carmen here saying my little retail store did way better last year than in 2022, and it's already outpacing 2023 in January. Carmen, if it's not too much trouble, I certainly don't want to pry into your personal matters here, but if it's not too much trouble, I would be interested in how these numbers change. I understand that you have a little retail store, but a data point is a data point. And if that starts to change at all, I think that might be valuable here for the group. So please share as you feel comfortable doing. Jay Rice mentioning SMCI, another HOD here. This thing's been an absolute rager here. More highs. This thing off 750 this is up 40 points intraday off that bottom. SMCI, this might be something we have to look into trading a little bit more.
Not trade, but would you buy to hold this?
Not here, no.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. I look at a daily chart like that and I flip over to a monthly or a weekly and it just looks vertical to me. Maybe now I'm not saying that that's the right move, but to answer your question, could you do it? I wouldn't feel good about it.
Neither would I.
Yeah.
All right. So Ohm did not break down like I thought it was. So that's 2 for 2 that I thought it was going to break down and didn't. If it can get back over the 65 EMA, then this thing is probably going to end up going back to the view app as well and going over that. But if not, then I think we go down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute and OMH.
Let me bring OMH up here really quickly while I'm looking at this market here. Dow kind of rolled back over. The NASDAQ is continuing to show strength, right? Now, the S&P bounced a little bit. Looks like the bounce has kind of slowed down, but it's not rolling over like the Dow. So very much like we were saying yesterday, or actually we've said this a whole bunch, what leads one day seems to be lagging the next day. Let's take a look at IWM because this perhaps shows this the best, right? IWM led the way yesterday, really strong all day. Look at today. We just gave up 2 days worth of gains. Sorry, 13.
No, don't worry about it. I was looking at the Dow 30 yesterday because we were thinking about the same thing exactly in happy hour chat. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to look at the Dow. And there was 9 of the 30 stocks were down, and they were all those 9 were only down by about 0.5%. Everything else was up. So now we have 3 stocks that are up today, and everything else is down.
Yep.
And it's down. They're down pretty handily too. We're talking 2%, 3%, 4% for Walgreens, the Walgreens Boots Alliance, the one we were talking about yesterday.
Yep.
WA.
Look at this.
Yeah. I forget what that the strategy was on this one, but we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, strategy here. Strategy here looks like. We'll say again.
Turnaround play. New CEO.
New CEO, and one of the things that we were talking about in conjunction with this thesis is that they changed over some of the management, or the changeover with the management coincides with the stock price that's been beaten down. Sorry, that's exactly what we saw here in WBA. Right, this stock's down from $100 to where we're at right now. So maybe the new CEO kind of turned things around here. We'll see. WBA having a really weak day here.
Looks like SMCI is trying to break above the levels that it was consolidating at yesterday. So we're in that consolidation right now. The high that they put in yesterday was $810, which is weird to say considering where it was a week ago. So either maybe it's a double top or we break through that and keep going.
Look at Microsoft up off the lows. NVIDIA up off the lows. Tell you what, we talked about it earlier. We said this is one of the things that we're watching for. This dip was viable. I think we've pretty much confirmed that, right? I know it's early in the session here today, but already this dip was viable. SMCI, Microsoft, NVIDIA, some of these big darlings that we've talked about, they're really coming up off the lows nicely here intraday. Let me know if anyone's trading these names. These really, really good moves here. SPY looks like that's trying to go higher. NASDAQ continuing higher. Dow continuing lower.
I wonder if this is just a large bull trap in disguise.
No, that's an interesting thesis.
Well, let's see. I got a trend line. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, hollow. Man, that thing rocketed all the way almost to 24. It did go to 24, didn't it?
Yes, I have 24 prints. Yes.
Oh, okay. I have
the first one, the first candle, this right. Most recent candle here. Here, let me see.
4 cents short.
Yep. High 20. Yep. 23.96. You're exactly right.
And now it looks like DBGI is trying to push higher.
See if we get a higher high here on DBGI. Got about 15 minutes left here, folks. Really, really appreciate all of the action here today, all of the input on everything here today. So great stuff. Give my man 13 a like, and give, perhaps most importantly, give the chat a like. Our chat has really been on top of it recently. And again, I just want to extend a thank you to everybody that joined and was polite with 13 and Andy while I was out. Really appreciate the two of you kind of giving our community an outlet, even while I was gone, so I could get some much needed R&R. So really appreciate that. Smash up the like for our community here, for Trade the Pool, 13, Andy, Alyssa, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, smash a like for yourselves. You guys deserve it.
Yeah, and we will be doing all access today. Luke will be doing an interview after that, so be sure to stick around here for that. But we ain't done yet. We got more money to make. 14 minutes left here.
Hollow 25. Just like Crow said, new high a day.
No, at this point, I keep rotating back from Hollow and DBGI.
Seems like that's what the chef had on the menu today.
I tell you what, Jay, you're busting it out here today with the analysis here. I absolutely love this. We talk a lot about recognizing patterns, seasonality, really anything that can help you make better decisions on your trading here. And activist investors, stakes, takeovers, the whole 9 yards. Jay Rice bringing this up here. Jay Bluke, Icon has been cold the last few years. If it were Elliott, I'd play it. So paying attention to what some of these different people and firms, what their success rate actually is, determining your next trade here. This is not something I follow, so I actually really appreciate this. No position in JetBlue for me.
Looks like LAES might be setting up to go higher. It's just, a slow mover.
Carmen, I appreciate this. I like I said, a data point is a data point. I'll take them across the entire spectrum of store sizes. Appreciate you sharing that with our group here. Smoke Tuna saying, watching big. We talked about retail being real strong yesterday. Big was the big exception. See what I did there? Not a very good dad joke. Big really, really weak yesterday. Pretty much just continued to sell off. Now today here, maybe this is bottomed. We'll see. It looks like this is kind of traded into the same area where it stopped selling off yesterday. Not sure if the selling's done here. I'll probably pass on this one, but Tuna, you've been doing such a good job bottom fishing some of these names here. Keep an eye out for that.
This thing is going to squeeze heavily at some point. It's got 40% short interest with 7 days to cover. We talked about this yesterday too.
Yep.
know what's going to cause it to suddenly squeeze. It might just be when everybody notices how heavily shorted it is, but it does have 15, almost 16 million float, so it's not too hard to push around.
Shannon here saying buying up XOM, taking it back. So XOM here a little bit weaker today. Let me actually flip over to my bigger daily chart here so we can get an idea of what this looks like here real quick. This is XOM. All right, so here we go. So let me actually turn that 500 back on. So interestingly here, we actually did break through that 500. Now we've traded back down to the 50-day. So this is actually a really interesting bounce spot here for XOM, Shannon. Maybe we do end up bouncing. Maybe we even pierce this moving average a little bit. I'm not sure, but definitely a support area here on XOM. Looking at oil up today, XOM down. Yeah, maybe this bounces here. Let's see. If the RSI were a little bit lower, I'd feel better about it.
Let me see here. I'll take a look at XOM. Just looking at some of those other runners that were moving. Okay. So if it can hold here, this would be a really good spot.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's actually a fairly decent entry if it holds here, and we'll see if we end up getting that. Shannon, appreciate this one. Good call.
Yeah, and then I would want to see it bounce and get over, or at least get back up to 102 pretty soon. We do that, it'll be a pretty good formation.
Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, Shannon's obviously moving this thing because this thing has a big power candle on the 3-minute chart since she mentioned it here in our chat. So good job there. Pat yourself in the back for that one. See if we can get back to the VWAP here. 70 cents away. Jonathan Cooper mentioning AULT jump or pumping on a stock repurchase plan. Okay, so this is going to be just one of those penny stocks. This is not one that I normally take here, but a decent move here in AULT.
How much of their float are they repurchasing? 50 million?
Here, real quick.
So a company with a market cap of 1.16 million is going to spend 50 million on buying their shares back.
Seem shady to you? I don't know if that's the right word here. Hollow new highs.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And it could keep going. Now I need to start putting in some more levels for hollow. This thing went all the way to 51 on when it was $1. That's still that's still fun to say. But alt. I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, I'd have to read some more of it, but I think that this might be to get eyes on it.
So CADL, which you guys mentioned earlier, that was the FDA fast track designation. Looks like that moved off its VWAP here. David Lynn, XOM X dividend today. Interesting. Maybe that's why it's sold off and getting bought back up here.
Yep. It's going to lose the value because it's sending money into the pockets of shareholders. So however much that dividend was, that's how much cash it's losing.
Yep. Good morning, Walter. Good to see you. Wisdom saying, boy, the market heat map looks like a red blanket. It's one of those days. But as Jay mentioned earlier, this should be a really good day for you to be able to find relative strength. What is bucking the trend? Figure out why and figure out if it's tradable.
All right. So with hollow, the next level I have is 28. We're almost there.
Looking around at some of my charts here. Boy, Tyson, rough day. Back to that 50 handle. I'm still waiting for those low 40s we talked about on Tyson. Ticker TSN here, by the way.
That'd be great if we did. I could finish my purchasing the amount I wanted.
Jay Rice. AULT was over 59,000 3 years ago. Reverse split adjusted.
Yeah.
Smoked tuna, I am going to give you a 1-up for this one. Up or down, the chat makes money. That's why we're here every single day. You folks really bring it every single day, and we love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Apple's still grinding higher here. That might try to go green at some point here today. APL.
Hollow's coming back in. Never got above 65 EMA. So I don't know. What do you see? Okay, now Hollow's coming back up. This thing is just gonna it's gonna absolutely stop a whole bunch of people out. This one might not be worth using your stops for unless you're setting them much lower.
Yeah, you're just going to get flushed on that. Probably. It's just back and forth. This also might be the AH runner of the day. So definitely keep this on your radar at minimum until the after hours here.
Yep. DBGI now under 10.
All day game plan. Love this. Going to be tuning in more often. Smiley face. Dude. 2 1-ups for you for that comment. We absolutely love that. Good to have you here.
BGLC. Sorry, go ahead.
No, which one was it? Was the ticker?
BGLC. I think this was the one that was, getting halted to the upside and downside. Now it's looking like it's trying to break out of that bottoming consolidation.
Indeed. Jonathan mentioning that VSIG maybe has bottomed. Looks like this is not moving down anymore on that selling. We got VWAP here at 199, current price 142, so a decent range to close the gap to VWAP. Looking at the Dow chart, seems like the intraday bottom has been formed there. NASDAQ, man, it's just kind of holding in here, but I still think that this might go higher.
There's a lot of bears and bulls.
A
lot of bears and bulls is kind of like, what's it going to do? Volume on alt.
Yeah, so alt here, this is halted here. Reason alt not available. Halt. Yeah, but alt in a halt. I got to say, this thing's probably going to $1, don't you think? We're only 12 cents away at this point. This thing was 40 cents recently.
Oh, stocks like this, it can do whatever it wants.
It can do whatever it wants. Not my cup of tea. I generally stay away from this stuff, but I know the community's taking a look at it, and boy, we do have that movement in there. So,
and it's a lot of retail traders pushing these around today. We're not getting so much institutional trading going on, especially with the Lunar New Year. It's going to take all the overseas foreign investors away. Some folks that are stateside that celebrate the New Year, Lunar New Year, they're going to be not participating as well.
Smoke Tuna mentioning that Rev B could be setting up. This was a big runner, lots of halts last time we traded this here. Don't have the volume that I like, but it is a little bit higher here. Tesla chart looking like a head and shoulders, says Jonathan. Sure does. Looks like a 3-minute chart here got a little bit of head and shoulders formation. Tesla looks like this might come back in, test that 183, 182 support level. We'll see if it stops there and reverses.
You got that on an intraday?
Yeah, this is a 3-minute.
Okay, I see that. Like we tried to pop back up to retake after that CPI candle. We'll call it the CPI candle. The CPI pulled the stock down, and then we came back up, made a head and shoulders. And now we're looking like we're trying to break down back to the 182 level and maybe lower.
All right, we are going to we're going to cross-talk, as they say here, a little bit. We're going to bring on my main man, Luke Jacoby. Luke, how you doing, dude?
What is going on, Ryan? Uh-oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can not hear through that mic.
Yeah, it looks like there's a different mic that's picking up your voice, but you project better than anyone in the business, my man. We can still hear you.
It's just because I'm excited. Does that sound a lot better?
That's perfect. Yeah. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Happy Tuesday. I'm doing better than the market. I was all excited because I'm overweight small caps, and they were having their day in the sun finally for the past few days here. Today, not as friendly. But I'm going to be talking to a stock, a company here that's having a pretty darn good day despite the market sell-off.
Okay, awesome.
Nice.
So we found the relative strength. It is with Luke. Luke is the relative strength here today, doing better against the backdrop of a market. I just want to thank everyone for the participation here today. Live trading will be back tomorrow. 13, I'm going to get you out of here. I'll see you later. Oh, I think I cut him off a little bit early. That was my bad. Luke, take it away on that interview. Good luck, my man.
All righty. So in just a minute here, stay tuned. We're going to be talking to one of the most exciting publicly traded companies. This is Kartoon Studios, ticker TOON. That's Tango, Oscar, November. We're going to be talking to CEO Andy Heyward and CFO Brian Parisi. If you grew up, which I think we all did, you probably grew up loving and consuming some of the content that Kartoon Studios works on. This is Benzinga All-Access. All right. You like the sound?
Loved it.
All right. And Andy, I am a son of 2 optometrists, and your eyewear selections always make my day. I'll say that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So everyone, as I mentioned, we are joined by one of the most exciting companies out there. It's got an amazing stock symbol. I always give companies credit if they have a good creative stock symbol. It's TOON, TOON. This is Kartoon Studios. We're joined by CEO Andy Heyward, CFO Brian Parisi. Guys, how are we doing today?
Fantastic.
We're doing wonderful. The rain has stopped in LA and it's bright and sunny and it's all good.
All right. Benzinga is hosting an event in LA. It's a cannabis investing oriented event, so a little bit of a different world. But I will be out there in about 2 weeks, so let's hope that rain holds.
I'll make sure to tell my 16-year-old daughter.
There you go. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, there's a lot to talk about today. It's been a flurry of news coming out of Kartoon Studios. I want to talk about a recent release covering the global streaming platform. It's been a few years now, a couple years that you've been working on your streaming product. You put out some streaming news recently. Please tell us what is that news. And I'll say we're moving out of earnings season, and we saw difficulty for a lot of these streaming platforms. It seems like you're in a bit of a different position. So tell us, what sets your streaming business apart?
Well, our streaming business is Kartoon Channel, and it's focused on kids, as you know. We announced today subscriber growth, record revenues, and record global coverage. We started off 3.5 years ago when we launched the channel, and we arrived at break even in Q4 of 23. And we've got a tremendous amount of momentum going forward. Channel's on just a real growth tear right now. So we're all very, very pumped up and excited about it. The management is extraordinary. And then internationally, we've been building out the channel, and we're in 61 territories right now, 1.8 billion viewership covered. And we just see continuing growth going forward with it. It's become a staple of our business and our company. And the importance of it is the synergy that we now have a platform that we control, which we can put our content on.
And Andy, let me just follow up for a background question for people who may not be familiar. Can you just give us some of the titles that are on that streaming platform?
Well, they range from our in-house produced channels like Rainbow Rangers and Stan Lee's Superhero Kindergarten starring Arnold Schwarzenegger to shows that we acquire. They range from Barney to Peppa Pig to Roblox Rumble we make, but other shows that we acquire that are very carefully curated for content. The defining factor of our channel is safety, safety, safety. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's the Wild West. I'm a parent. I'm very concerned about what things our kids are exposed to, and we want to have positive programming out there. And the audience has reacted to this. If you go to the Apple App Store and look at the user rankings, these are all done by the users. We stand at 4.9 out of 5 stars. We're ahead of Netflix. We're ahead of Disney Plus. We're ahead of Max. We're ahead of Kartoon Network. We're ahead of Nickelodeon. We're really we're the highest ranked of all of the various services that are out there for kids.
Awesome. Thank you. Brian, I'd like to go over to you. As CFO, you are newer to the business. What has the journey looked like over the past few months?
Yeah, and look, I mean, how many CEOs wear, the colorful tie and the glasses to match? I mean, it speaks to the creativity and the energy of this company. And look, I worked for some of the largest entertainment companies, in the world. Recently, I was a CFO at the NFL, worked at the largest music promoter in the world, Live Nation, and then some of the biggest movie studios. But this company has incredible energy and creativity. So really part of my challenge, Luke, coming in is harness that sort of chaos and create some business sensibility around the business. And really kind of the mandate for me coming in was pretty clear. It's among all the items, really there were three main things. It was strengthen the balance sheet, focus on working capital, focus on cash flow, get the right metrics for the system for success. Second one was revenue. So look across our enterprise, how can we maximize revenue? And part of that exercise was going to all the business leaders. And frankly, we weren't telling them what the metrics needed to be. We made it collaborative. We said, okay, you tell us what you think your business for success is, and let's rally around that. Let's have that as a metric going forward. And then lastly, it's really driving profitable growth, EBITDA. Because really, if you do that in the end, then your balance sheet gets healthier, your cash flow gets healthier. All those metrics are important. And the company was doing it before, but I think we're doing a much better job of formalizing that. We've had many strategy meetings already. We have a cadence of, monthly strategy meetings, again, to focus on those KPIs, focus on the growth factors. Everything we're going to talk about today, I think, is going to just put more credence to our ability to grow the business.
Yeah. Brian, and I've been at our business, Benzinga, for 11 years now, and we recently just brought in a new CFO and did not to the full extent of the exercise that you did, but did some of those exercises, like going to the various business unit heads. And I can speak to the impact, very firsthand and very recently within the past few months that this has had on our business. So awesome to hear, Brian. Andy, I want to bring it back to you. AI has been a big market headline. I would say the big market headline over the past few months for all of us stock market oriented folks. What is Kartoon Studios doing with AI, if anything?
AI is a very big and important focus for us. And I'll start by saying we licensed our Stan Lee brand to Marvel and the Walt Disney Company a year ago for use in their movies. Stan Lee has sadly passed away, but he will continue to live on with us through a variety of different means, including digital and AI. We have a huge emphasis going on with the AI in our production and cost savings there. Various creation of models, dubbing services, writing, pretty much every area of production is being touched by AI, and it's enabling us to do incredible economies. We're working with some of the most important people in this space right now.
It's great to hear. One of the things that we ask as stock market people is when we get these market trends that pop up is how real are they? And one of the big barometers that we like to look at Benzinga is, are real companies actually using the technology? And so it's great to hear, stories from folks like yourself who are saying, yes, this is actually something that's a part of our business.
Let me give you a quick concrete example. Forgive me for interrupting. Let me give you a quick concrete example. When we sell our shows overseas, the single biggest cost is dubbing, putting them into the various languages around the world. That cost has gone down by, and will be going down by, I can't tell you the exact dollars, but 50, 70, maybe even 90% in the coming year because of AI. It's an incredible tool for us, and it's being used in every area of our production. As I said, the creation of our model sheets, scripts are being done in AI.
Yeah, and it's huge. A great tangible example. I want to move on to the Llama Llama franchise. I know there was some news out about Llama Llama recently. Andy, can you tell us what that was?
Yeah. Well, we're doing a promotion with Kohl's, a retail promotion, and that's sort of a data point of the stability and growth of the brand. One of the beautiful things about kids' entertainment is if you have a good property, it becomes evergreen. I remember when I started my career, I was working as a writer at Hanna-Barbera, writing on the Flintstones. You can go today, years later, to the drugstores, and you're going to find Flintstone vitamins. You're going to find Pebbles and Bam Bam cereal still in the marketplace. Llama has sold somewhere between 25 and 30 million books. It is a staple of children's entertainment, and the brand is going to be a growing workhorse for us for years and years to come. And the retail announcement that we just did with Kohl's is a testimony to that. The original series we produced continues to perform on Netflix. It's also on our own service, Kartoon channel.
Awesome. And I did see that press release, and I saw Llama Llama Easter egg in there. Perfect time of the year. I saw that one. I'm like, I made a little note. I'm like, I got to pick that one up. I don't really have children in my life that are that age, but I think I would love that. A nice little peaceful read for myself. Andy, you teased about Stan Lee. You mentioned Stan Lee. Obviously an amazing creator. I think the general public is very aware of the creation that Stan Lee's brought into this world. From our stock market view, Stan Lee has created billions and billions and billions of dollars of value in worth. Tell us, what are you doing with Stan Lee Universe?
Yeah. Well, I'm only going to be able to give you a little tease about it today. Okay. We're working with one of the largest companies in the world, and we are working across every area that we touch. Content with Stan Lee, retail, gaming, music, and upcoming digital sales. Stan, as you know, is the greatest and most successful, most prolific creator of all time. 14 of the top 50 box office films of all time, including the number 1 or 2, I'm not sure, movie of all time, Avengers Endgame, were created by this one man. Obviously, Spider-Man and Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther, all of them. So what an incredible creator. And we've been so fortunate to become the steward of his IP, his name, his likeness, his voice, his signature, all of the merchandise surrounding him post-Marvel, and all of the IP that he created post-Marvel. It's a huge responsibility, and it's an incredible privilege. And we have huge things coming forth from him in the very near future. They'll be announced.
All right. 2 things I really liked out of that. I love the responsibility and privilege, and I like the tease as well. Brian, let's go to you to close it out. 2024, year ahead. You're newer to the business. What does that look like for Kartoon Studios?
Well, look, I think all the things that we've talked about here today are sort of the catalyst that we're going to see in the coming year. Luke, I'd love to be on this show in a year and invite us back if you'll have us, because I think we're at an inflection point right now. I think we've got the industry coming up that I'm sure you're well aware of. All the strikes are over, streamers are back on, all this sort of the engine is moving again. And we are well positioned across the entire ecosystem to pull the levers as needed, whether it's our creating the content like Stan Lee, using our channel, going international. We didn't really even talk much about our animation studio in Canada that is doing fantastic. But I think in the next year we have the tailwinds behind us and the catalyst to really have a great 24 and beyond.
Awesome. Well, Brian, Andy, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for giving us the updates. Again, the company is Kartoon Studios. The ticker, one of my favorites, TOON. Wishing you gentlemen a wonderful rest of the day.
You too. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Luke.
All right, everyone. This is All Access. That's exactly what we try to do with this segment. We want to bring you the companies that are interesting. We want you to hear directly from the companies themselves, not just all of us talking about them. We like to listen to ourselves talk, but we've found, you readers have told us, it's more impactful to hear right directly from the companies, and that's what Benzinga All Access is all about. Happy trading, happy investing. I will see you all tomorrow.